It may have been a typical morning before school began, but it wasn't a typical day at all for Charlotte. It was the math test day. Charlotte was panicked. She'd been worrying about this math test for days, maybe even a couple of weeks. Charlotte's mom had been watching the emotions build up in her daughter the entire week, and she knew today would be difficult. There was Charlotte, panicking, worried, anxious, and there seemed to be nothing that Charlotte's mom could do to help Charlotte overcome this. How could she send her daughter off to school like this? There's no way she would do well on that math test in this state of mind, even though Charlotte could do pretty good on a math test. Have you ever been in this situation where your child was panicked, worried, anxious, and you weren't so sure how you could effectively help them move forward? If that's your story, you need to start using the calm response that I've been teaching families for quite some time now. In fact, I have an overview video of the entire calm response in the description down below that you'll want to check out after you watch this one. But this video is part of a 4-part series where we're diving deep into each letter of the CALM acronym. CALM stands for Connect, Attune, Lean, and Map. And this video is all about attuning. So check out how you can help your child attune their heart so they can be ready to overcome those emotions of worry and anxiety. And if we're just meeting for the first time, hi, I'm BJ Muir. I'm a Christian parenting coach, and I work with families showing them how to use a heart-based approach to parenting so they can stop just focusing on their kids' behavior and instead focus in where Jesus is focused, on their child's heart, so they can see true transformation in their children's lives and in their family lives that brings about positive changes that actually last. And this area of big emotions, in particular, feeling worried and anxious, is a giant one in a lot of families. And when it's there, it can really make parenting challenging. So many times when our children come to us worried and panicked, we try to help them by telling them things like, oh, don't worry about that. It's nothing bigger. Or you could totally do it. I believe in you. There's nothing to fear. Just move on. Don't you trust God enough? Things like that. Ways where we try to dismiss, ways where we don't intend to, but we do end up shaming, or ways where we try to fix the problem for our kids. And meanwhile, all our kids are looking for is an understanding ear and a shoulder to lean on so that we can help them through the process. And that's exactly what the calm response allows you to do. You're going to start off by connecting with your kid. And that's exactly what Charlotte's mom would need to do here. She could simply turn to Charlotte when she's seeing Charlotte panicked and say, wow, it really looks like this test is on your mind a lot. Is it? And that's going to tell Charlotte, oh, mom sees me. She understands what's going on. Something as simple as that is a great way to connect. Then mom can move on to attuning. Attuning hearts is really about helping children self-regulate, helping them embrace what Psalm 46:10 teaches. Be still and know that he is God. God calls us to start self-regulating by being still and then acknowledging he's God. That's what we're going to be helping our children do in this step. We've connected with them. Before we start jumping into solutions for the problem, we need to actually settle down enough to be able to start thinking about those solutions. When children are struggling with attuning, what's going on is that they've got some things going on inside. The Bible talks a lot about the heart, but we also now, in modern science here, understand what's going on in the brain. What's going on in the brain, and I love to use this model. If you follow me for any amount of time, you know this model already, but let me connect it to worry and anxiety. This is a little model of your brain. You could use this with your child too. Tuck the thumb inside. This is the upper brain, where we have our logical reasoning, where we have our verbal skills, where we have our thinking skills. All of that is up here. Down here, amygdala, lower brain, fight, flight, freeze, appease, emotions. They're all down here. This is not the bad guy, and this the good guy. No, these are both good parts of the brain. We need them all. We need them to work together. The problem is, when this guy's in charge, it can get a little messy if it's the wrong time for him to be in charge. And when our kids are panicked, they are flipping their lids, and this guy's running loose. And when we try talking to them and telling them things like, oh, you don't need to worry about that. There's no reason to, no, don't worry. But we're talking, that's verbal skills. They're way up here. And we're using reasoning skills. No, they're not listening. That guy hates this stuff. What this guy likes is being seen, being known. And so saying something like, wow, it looks like you're really worried, aren't you? No, this guy likes it now. And he starts calming down a little bit. Now we need to use these attuning strategies to help this part of the brain just kind of calm down, tuck this little guy into bed. Good night. And then we can start working on solutions. You can go out onto the internet. You can find endless videos and blogs and books and on strategies to help a kid calm down. I'm going to give you 4 different broad ideas that have been found to be very effective that you can then tailor to your child, but you still can go out and find lots of other ones. So I'm not going to be able to cover everything here. But then after I show you these 4 basic ideas, I want you then to keep watching because I'm going to give you a tool to help you uncover which ones are going to work for your child. The first broad category of strategies we can use to help our children calm in this moment are what we would call breathing strategies. And there's lots of different ways to use the breathing strategies. I'm going to give you a couple of them right now. Deep breathing is when our child is breathing in through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. And this can sometimes be tricky for younger children because they tend to breathe too heavily in, or they're just pushing too shallowly out. So you can do simple things, and I've shown you on this channel before, holding your hands like this and pretending you're holding a slice of pizza. We call pizza breathing. And your child can breathe in as if they're smelling the pizza and then blow out to kind of cool off that hot slice of pizza. Something like that can help our younger children. Our older children usually can just do this strategy. For others, they don't love using deep breathing, but they do like cleansing breaths. And that's where we don't take a deep breath in. We're just trying to clean out. So it's just pushing out the air. Both deep breathing and cleansing breaths have their supporters, and they've got all kinds of rationale behind it, including how it introduces oxygen into the blood flow and all kinds of great sciencey stuff that I'm going to let sciencey people talk about, and I'm going to stick to my little corner of the world here with coaching. Third thing, though, that I've seen use effectively is what we call magic mustache, where you put your finger here, and what you're doing is you're pressing right here. There's a sensor right there that helps bring some calm. And again, I'll let the science people talk to you about that. But there, you just start breathing. Any type of way of helping children regulate their breathing a little bit to slow down can start to do some great things below the surface to help them calm down. A second broad category of strategies you can use to help your child calm down are what I would call kinesthetic strategies. These include simple things such as giving a hug and holding that hug for a few seconds, helping your child feel that connection with you in that moment. Some children respond deeply to this type of interaction. Some children respond deeply to just a little bit of a back rub. I had one family who I was working with who dad said, I have my child lay down on their belly and I press on their back and I kind of rub deeply on their back up and down, and this helps them calm down. Yes, these are all strategies, kinesthetic strategies that help children calm down. Another one that I often use is using eyes and hands. And so I'm going to hold my hands up high so you can see them. Normally I'd hold them way down here, but I'll hold them up here. I'll get down on a child's level and I'll hold my hands out like this. And I'll tell the child, let me see your eyes. Hold my hands. And I stay at this calm level. And what I want is the child to put their hands in my hands and their eyes on me too. And sometimes I then will do some sort of a deep breath or kind of a slow breathing with them. But this eyes and hands helps me connect with that child. Sometimes I actually do this before I make the connecting statement that you can pick up in the other video on connecting. I'll put the link in the description down below. But I'll do this with that, and that helps the child feel both connected and they start attuning right away as well. Hey, I'm going to interrupt myself here because I always forget to tell you to hit the like button if you're finding this helpful. But if you're finding this series on helping your child calm and how you can help them calm helpful, hit that like button for me. Thanks so much. The third broad category of calming strategies that you can use for your children are what I call interrupting strategies. This is where I suggest to a child, let's go get a drink of water real quick, or let's go get a drink of juice. A drink often will change things for a lot of children. It might be doing 10 jumping jacks together, or counting back from 10 to 1, or naming our favorite ice cream flavors. Something that just sort of interrupts the worrisome thought for a moment so we can sort of regulate ourselves, and then we'll get back to dealing with the thing that's worrying us. This isn't a distraction where we're going to move on in life. This is just an interruption to kind of calm down, and then we'll go back and deal with that. Now, I don't start with this. Remember, we start with C, connect. But this interruption strategy can often help children interrupt the worrisome thought for a moment so they can kind of get their emotions above water, and then we can move forward. Fourth broad category of calming strategies that I'll use are what I would call time strategies. Time strategies help us slow down. A time strategy that I'll often use with a child who wants it is taking a break. You want you to go take a break. Have a seat over here. Maybe it's a little calming corner that we have. Maybe your child has a little tent somewhere in the playroom that they like to go sit in. That helps them calm down. Maybe they have a little book they like to read, but something that gives them a few minutes to just sort of change scenery, take a break, come back and see me. Other parents don't want their child to go away to go do that work, and they want to be a part of it. And so this might be taking a break with mommy or daddy, sitting over here on the couch together. And maybe you kind of add a little kinesthetic thing by rubbing a back as this child sits and plays with a piece of silly putty or something like that. So we're kind of using a couple strategies here in the time category. But what we're trying to do here again is provide this child with a little bit of time to settle. One other way to do this time strategy is making yourself a worry box. Now, I have a whole video on how to do this and why it works, and I'll link that in the description down below. But this is a great strategy. I'll confess, I saw it the first time, thought, oh, that's kind of hokey, watched a bunch of kids use it, and let me tell you something, this sucker works wonders. So again, check the link in the description down below. No matter what broad category you choose from, your goal is the same. Help your child embrace Psalm 46:10 and be still. Help them navigate this big emotion. That's what we're doing right here. In C of the CALM acronym, we were just connecting with their child. So they knew we're on your team. We're helping you work through this. We're here for you. A, attuning, is helping them navigate the emotion. L and M will help us then deal with the problem that's causing the emotion. But right now in A, attuning, we're just attuning the heart so it's in a place that's ready to tackle the problem itself with our help. But BJ, you say, my kid doesn't want to do any of this stuff. I've tried this stuff. What do you do when your kid just refuses to calm down? I get it. I hear you. I've had that happen to me too. It often means we're not choosing the right strategies to help our children, and we're not making them enough of the process. So let me give you a plan to help your child become part of this process and find the right strategies that'll help them calm down. Go ahead and grab yourself some basic loose leaf paper and a pen or a pencil and sit down with your kid for a few minutes. You're going to take the paper, you're just going to fold it right in half like that. And this now has become a T-chart that you and your child are going to work on. If your child's old enough to write, you're going to want to make sure that they're the ones holding the pen and doing the writing, because this is going to become their T-chart, their strategy sheet to help them uncover what's going to work for them. And we want to help our child understand that we're going on a little adventure here. We're going on a treasure hunt. And when you go on a treasure hunt, you don't always find treasure right away. In fact, you'll dig in lots of places looking for buried treasure. And a lot of your holes that you dig are going to come up empty. No gold in the hole. But when you do finally find the gold, all those empty holes were worth it. That's how we have to help our children think about finding strategies that help them, that they're on a treasure hunt and it will be worth it in the end. So on the top of this paper, your child's going to write their name, Jonathan's calming strategies, Samantha's calming strategies. And on the one side of the page, your child is going to just start brainstorming ideas that might help them calm down. You can use ideas from this video. You can even show them that section of the video where I went over the different types of categories of strategies, and maybe that'll help them too. But just come up with any idea. No idea is stupid. No idea is the idea. They're all just ideas. So avoid the temptation to start analyzing and deciding if that's really a good idea or not. Just write the ideas down, because you have no idea which ideas are really going to work. And if you think it's not a good idea, don't say it right now. Just write it down, because you have no idea what's going to happen, what new ideas are going to get sparked on, because you just make the list. Judgment-free, just make the list right now. Your child can also feel free to reach out to others. If they want to call grandma and grandpa up and get some ideas, go for it. They want to talk to their youth leader or a Sunday school teacher or a teacher in school, go for it. These ideas can come from anywhere. So now that you have a bunch of ideas listed on this side that you've brainstormed, now it's time to start making some judgment calls and to start analyzing what's here and make a decision about where you're going to start digging for gold. So move a couple of ideas over, maybe 3 different ideas that you're like, these are the ones we're going to try out first. And then let your kid hold on to this paper. Pray together that God would help you and your child use these different strategies together anytime that there's something that we're worried about. And then let your child keep this paper wherever they want. They can hang it up next to their bed. They can keep it in a drawer, wherever they want to keep it. I would take a picture of it in case it ever gets lost, but this is a living document. We're going to come back to this paper after a few days, after we've tried some things out, and then go try those things. So the next time your child starts struggling with worry, yes, connect, because that's C in the CALM acronym I'm teaching you. Then A, attune, start using the 3 ideas listed here. Tell your kid, which one of the 3 ideas do you want to try out? Let's use it right now and see how they work. After a couple of days, take a look at the list again and say, what is working and what's not working? If something's not working over here, cross it out, erase it, just get rid of it and cross it out on this side, because that's an empty hole. But if you find gold, if you find something that worked, get a golden highlighter. Highlight, you found gold. That's a golden strategy. And then go back over here, bring a few more ideas over, try a few new ones. In short time, you'll start actually finding things that work. And what happens is when you find things that work, and it's going to take time, but when you find things that work, it won't be you having to force your kid to do certain things. Your child is going to be excited to do these things because they're going to recognize this helps me feel better. This helps me calm down. I can be more productive when I do this, so I'm willing to do it because it helps me. That's part of the big reason why your kid is so resistant to any of this right now. It's because nothing's working for them, because we're not really investing in the time and energy into finding what would work for them. But once they know what works for them, boy, let me tell you, I've watched it time and time again. Kids take these papers and it becomes just a little guide for them to know exactly what to do the next time they struggle with feeling worried. Attuning the heart is a necessary step if we're going to move forward and actually address the situation at hand that's causing some of the worry and anxious feelings in your child. But to be able to do that well, we need to make sure we're doing each one of the steps in the CALM acronym correctly. If you've not seen the overview video, I'm going to put that right down here for you. And if you've already seen it, but you'd like to see what's next, the letter L, when I publish that, that's going to go right on up here. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you real soon. Bye, everyone.